They saved up for years to buy a house, sold their car and moved into a small apartment. They were so excited to finally be able to call somewhere their own after being in a series of temporary rentals for years. The apartment was too small for a crib, so they decided to move again. This time they wanted somewhere bigger with a yard, where the baby could play. They found a charming two-story house in the suburbs. It had a beautiful garden and a large living room that would be perfect for a family of 3. But most importantly, it had a spare bedroom that they could use as a nursery. Everything seemed to be going according to plan, and then suddenly they found out that they were expecting a baby. It was the best news ever. He went to check on the baby and saw that the wife had gotten out of bed to go check on him. He felt guilty for wanting to run away, but he couldn't help himself. He was tired of all the responsibilities and he didn't know how much more he could take. She was pale and sweaty, but she was holding the baby close and singing to him softly. She didn't say anything about what had happened the night before. The wife tried everything she could think of to make her husband happy, but nothing worked. He was still distant and cold and it hurt her deeply. She didn't know what to do. She felt like she was losing him every day and she didn't know how much more she could take. She didn't want to cause any more trouble than necessary, but her husband wasn't the same ever since the baby was born. He was distant and cold and it hurt her deeply. In that moment, the husband realized that he didn't want this life. He didn't want to be a father. He didn't even want to be married. All he wanted was to go back to sleep and forget about all the problems that had been haunting him lately. They couldn't wait to start their new life as parents. A few months went by and it was time to get the nursery ready. On moving day, they got everything set up. The husband unpacked his tools and made a list of all the things that needed fixing. She had done nothing wrong. All she wanted was to be a good mother and a good wife. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't keep going like this. She needed her husband's love and support, but he had become a stranger. But the longer she waited for him to come around, the more she realized that it might not happen. They didn't know what they were doing, but they managed somehow. The wife was still in a lot of pain, but she was getting better every day. The husband, on the other hand, was starting to lose his mind. He hadn't slept properly in days and he was starting to feel the effects of exhaustion. The wife hung up the mobile above the crib and decorated the walls with colorful paintings of animals. That evening, they sat down to dinner and talked about how lucky they were to have found such a great place. They raised a toast to their future together in their new home. But fate had other plans. In the middle of the night, the wife woke up feeling very sick. At first she thought it was just a bad dream. Then she realized that she was having contractions. She quickly called an ambulance and was taken to the hospital. The husband was frantic with worry, but he knew that he had to stay at home with the baby. He couldn't go to the hospital because there was no one else to take care of the newborn when the wife got back from the hospital. She was in a lot of pain. She couldn't believe that she had given birth to a baby boy, but she was too weak to hold him. The husband felt helpless. He wanted to do something, anything to make his wife feel better, but all he could do was watch over her as she slept. For the next few days, they took turns taking care of the baby while the other one slept. One morning, he woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of crying. He went back to bed and pretended to be asleep when his wife came back. In the morning, the wife got up early and made breakfast for her husband. She knew that he was going through a lot, but she didn't understand why he was taking it out on her. The wife was devastated. She had always dreamed of having a big family and now it looked like that dream would never come true. As the days went by, the situation only got worse.